Welcome to Homecoming. Now, if you hear music in the background, a lot of Mexican music, they like to play it on a Sunday at this hour, which is about 11 something at night when people are about to go to work in the morning. There's some neighbors I have that just don't give a damn. So I'm sorry if you hear some music getting really loud all of a sudden. Was this pay-per-view great? It was good. To me, it did feel like it was a bit short for most of the matches. And then there was a match or two that really needed something extra or should have never been done the way it was. But I can understand the reason why if there were circumstances. So let's get to the first part, which was the X Division Ultimate X match. I kind of wish they did this in the middle of the show. Honestly, I really do, but I wish they would give the X Division more shine other than the beginning of the show, like the Cruiserweights. I mean, I know the Cruiserweight's supposed to build things up for the show. And this match did a pretty damn good job. But I do wish they wouldn't treat the X Division the way it does. Because I can understand sometimes they're doing it, but not every time. I'm sorry. That's just me. The people who made that match really good was Rich Swann and Ethan Page. Now, no, that's saying a lot with Ethan Page. He's a big guy with three other small guys. In a match that needed maybe 2 more people, needed 6 instead of 4, but he did a pretty good job. In the end, you got Rich Swann winning, which I felt was the wisest thing to do. The Rascals are just starting out. Ethan Page, yeah, he's working with Matt Sydal, but then you're not doing anything with Matt Sydal. And when it comes to Jake Crist, he's Jake Crist, I'm sorry. OVE only works when it's with Sammy. Sammy has to have the title. Jake and Dave Crist don't really mean much. I'm not putting anything bad against them, but I did say this last year, in 2018, that the Crist mean nothing because they're only doing something with Sammy. It still follows suit. Now, Ali and Su Yung versus Kiera Hogan and Jordynne Grace. I'm kind of surprised this was the second match on the card. I am kind of surprised. I thought it would be farther up. Now here's the thing. This match wasn't 100% bad, but I have to kind of say I didn't see all of the match in the beginning due to the fact that, and this was a snafu on Impact's behalf, because they were streaming to Twitch the very beginning of the X Division Ultimate X match. Actually, they streamed the entire match on Twitch. They did. They streamed it. And by the time this match happened, I think someone said, oh my goodness, we've been giving this away for free. They cut the stream. They just cut that stream. And the next stream was acting really jumpy. I couldn't get it for at least a couple of minutes before it finally worked. So then I saw maybe a miss about maybe 3 or 4 minutes of the match. Now, was it a bad match? No. Su Yung did a very good job. Kiera Hogan did a good job. Jordynne Grace didn't come in until later in the match. Then that means it was Ali who was carrying most of that match. And here's the thing. I'm sorry. Ali is supposed to be the subordinate, not the one that seems to be dictating what's going on. And even though it was John Collis and Josh Matthews who were trying to depict it, from what I saw, it still looked like Ali was leading the match, which she's supposed to be Su Young's subordinate, supposed to be her slave. And she didn't act like a slave. She acted like what she wanted. And this was the problem I felt I was having here. When it came to Ali, she should have never wore the clothes she's wearing now. Until now. She should have been wearing the clothes with the new music now on this pay-per-view. And this was the issue for me. It felt like it was rushed when it came to Ali. That's how I felt. Taking away how she'd been botchy in the ring, and she was a bit botchy in this ring, because I was kind of worried how Kiera was thrown around by her really badly. She kind of botched several of her moves, and I was worried that Kiera might have hurt herself. In the end, once Jordynne Grace came in, showed a decent amount of work. She does have ability. But I guess they didn't want to make the emphasis on her, because she got missed in the face, Kiera lost, and was about to get thrown into the casket, and I thought this would be the perfect time to bring in Rosemary. In fact, I want to be honest. For this show, I wanted Rosemary to face Allie. Now, maybe they're going to do this as Slammiversary because guess what? They open up the casket to throw Kira in, and guess who comes out? Not Allie. I really wish this was not done now. It should have been built into it. But I have to take it for what it is. Once Rosemary destroyed the undead, once she destroyed Su Yung and the undead brides, she went into the ring with Allie, who was acting and smacking herself in the face, and she decides she wants to pet her on the head. Allie's, no. She rolls out of the ring screaming to a certain extent, and then she walks up the ramp. This didn't feel right. To me personally, it felt like it was forced and rushed. Now, I can understand if Rosemary was not ready because her injury was not ready, not healed, and she wasn't cleared. Or maybe she hadn't gotten her contract renewed in time as well. Then maybe they just renewed it just recently. I don't know the full story. You guys can tell me below. But when it comes down to it, it felt kind of forced. And then it felt like it was rushed. It should have been done before this pay-per-view. Doesn't mean it isn't good to see Rosemary. I love me to Rosemary. Rosemary still is the woman I love that has the nicest cleavage a woman could have, even if her breasts are only a B cup. I'm being honest. I love me Rosemary. She's a good looking woman. If she has B cup breasts, I don't care. She knows how to make them look good. In the end, I'm glad to see her, and I'm really frustrated about this match. So let's move on to Eli Drake versus The Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. They did what I hoped they would do. Make this not about Abyss, not about Tommy, not about Raven, about Eli and how tough he is. And he went through the gambit of what it means to be in hardcore wrestling. He is the last of a dying breed. I think I'm losing my voice. Yup, I'm losing my voice. And he pretty much made this match mean something. Now, it wasn't an incredible match. Let's be honest here. This was not an incredible match, even though he got some nasty tacks in his back, as you can see in my face. It was not about that. This was about to show how tough he could be and how Abyss can get him over, which he decently did. There was no Tommy, there was no Raven, it was just those two, and in the end, Abyss loses in a spectacular way. And in the end, I gotta put it like this, I didn't get the shot, but pretty much he took that ore and he cracked it onto Abyss's head, and he sold it well, even though it was a very weak board. I'm glad to see Eli get over. He needed it in the hopes that he will move forward going into the main title scene, because that's where he needs to be. They don't have a mid-card title. They just have the X Division and they got the main card. They need to put him up there to be interesting, and that's what I want. And hopefully that's where we're going. The next match was, I'm going to get this one over. Tessa Blanchard versus, This match, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. Particularly when it came to Gail Kim. And particularly about Taya Valkyrie. Because I felt Taya was going to be left in the wayside here. And it was going to be about Gail versus Tessa. And it was. Look, I'm not against Gail Kim. I don't hate her. If she's booked properly, I will love her. If she's not booked properly, I don't give a flying frack about her. I don't want to watch her on TV. In this situation, because they brought her in, you now have Tessa Blanchard through most of that. I gotta admit, there was one move in there that I don't know if it was Taya or Tessa or both of them that botched it. It was supposed to be a Hurricane Rana on Tessa Blanchard. And I don't know if it was Taya that didn't get in position right or Tessa to grab her properly. But that one was so badly botched. It was ugly. I don't care who did it. I don't care if it was Taya. I don't care if it was Tessa. I don't care either one of them. It looked bad for both of them. But in the end, you got a certain situation where Tessa got nailed by, well, let me backtrack a little bit. When it came down to it, Tessa really made this match all about her getting over on Gail Kim. Taya was pretty much an afterthought. And it really felt like an afterthought. The match wasn't bad, but in the end, once Taya got nailed by Gail Kim, and Tessa nailed her as well, it just felt like Taya was an afterthought. And by the time you got eat defeat on Tessa and Taya finally wins the title, it didn't really feel like much. This felt like it was only about Tessa and Gail Kim. And I know a lot of people are not fond of Taya, particularly about what's going on with Johnny Impact being the one who's in charge right now. And they think because of that, you might say Austin Aries left because of it. But she deserved better than that. That's just me. Now, the second best match of the night for me was Sami Callihan versus Willie Mack. That was a good damn match. That was a good damn match. I did not expect Willie Mack to be able to fly around like he did. He's a very big guy. I think he's like 280, 270, 280 at least. And that man was flying around like he was 180 pounds. That man knew how to do the business well. And when it came to Sami, you know he knows how to sell it, and he also knows how to dish it out. And you got two guys that look like they can sell it pretty well at certain points, dish it out at certain points, and it was done well. They were doing so many freaking chops, it was crazy. Now, at one point, Willie wasn't selling. He got knocked to the ground a couple of times, and he only did a 1 count, which was fine. I liked it. In the end, it was Sami who won. And I thought, what was going to happen with Rick Swann? Was Rick going to come out and help him? And he didn't. I would have thought Rick would have came out and done something. At least I hope they're going to cover this on Friday. Oh, that reminds me. Right now, Pursuit is now the home of Impact. And now they're going to be on there Friday at 10. Oh, that doesn't sound like a very good time either. I mean, it gives more time for the people in the Midwest to watch the product, but it kind of makes me a little wary. I may elaborate on that in the rest of this review if I don't forget, because I have a tendency to forget. Let's move on to, let's see, what was the next one? Now, Brian. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Moose versus Eddie. This was the third match of the night for me. It was not the first, it was the third. Mainly due to the fact that, yes, they did have a stipulation as a no falls count anywhere match. I was hoping there would be a stip, and there was. But there was something missing. It was Alyssa. And she did come at the end of the match. And then she nailed Moose in the face with Kenny, which was good. But I kind of felt like she should have been involved in this from the very beginning. When she, at one point, like months ago, was on that rooftop with him and said, no, not on the rooftop, was in the back saying, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? And he goes and kisses her and says, yes, I am. And she should have been a part of it. I just feel like her at the end of the match didn't really mean a lot. It would have been better if she had been in there in the beginning of the match. And maybe be involved in it. Now, mind you, it was good going. It wasn't all about being in the ring. They did at first go outside the ring, go into the crowd, go into the fans, and I was fine with that. But I do believe Alyssa should have been involved in it. A much, much, much more earlier than near the end of the match. That's just me. The best match of the night had to be the Lucha Brothers versus LAX. That was the best match of the night. You know why? Because it had the best story. Now, I know you guys are going to say, what about Eddie and Moose? They got a good story. Yes, they do. Tessa and Taya had a good story. Not the greatest, but it was okay. This one was the best story of them all because you have almost 2 years of content between LAX dealing with Conan and now the Lucha Brothers dealing with Conan. This is where the story was supposed to go. There was just one thing for me personally. Doesn't mean it had to happen, but I was just imagining it, and I'll explain in a minute. You had both teams literally going all out on each other. It was very good. I am not a Lucha Libre wrestling fan. I mispronounced that. I'm not a big Lucha fan, but it doesn't mean I don't like good quality storytelling. And this was good quality storytelling. You already had a good story backing it up, and then you got, I really am going hoarse, and then you have the good wrestling. I'm not even going to explain how much was there. At one point, everyone was kicking each other's heads off. At one point, everyone basically did a jump over the top rope, where I thought at one point that Pentagon Jr. almost broke his leg when the way he landed at one point. I don't think I got that shot. But at one point, it was just crazy. And in the end, it was LAX who managed to win. Eventually, Conan does come out and pretty much says, you know what? You guys, I was wrong. You guys can have a good match and not make it personal. And we rule this place. And this is the best place because it's a home asylum for Impact Wrestling. And you did get a very strong reaction to that. And I was good with that. And oh, almost forgot. The fans, even though it was a small arena, the fans were generally good. There were points where they were very quiet and low, but it wasn't that bad. And this was the best match of the night. Now, let me see here. The final match of the night, Cage versus Johnny. I didn't feel like this match was very good at first. Was it? It felt botchy. I mean, they didn't really seem to be working that well together. But as it went on, the story began to develop and the crowd began to get behind it. The Terminator clap was present, but I think by the time they were nearing the end, when they really started getting into it, the crowd really loved it. And by the time you have Brian Cage going outside and two guys from Survivor. I haven't seen Survivor 37. Season 37. I'm not a big Survivor fan. You see Johnny's friends there. And he got angry that one of them bothered him and he shoved him out of the way. And once he hit the drill claw, you got the ref by that time was outside dealing with them. And everyone knows Johnny should have been pinned. By the time the ref got back into the ring, they went back at it. Johnny managed to finally beat Cage. And Cage was livid. He was mad. He picks up that title and he throws it at Johnny, saying pretty much, I should be freaking champion. And he walks out of the ring. Now, the thing that got me was when Taya came out. And she didn't seem to be happy about the situation. Yes, she was happy. But it was like something was going on. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something going on that she seemed to be happy, but not 100% happy. Maybe it was because of the controversy for herself as well. Because that was more about Gail Kim and Tessa Blanchard than her. But then I realized, no. It was about Killer Cross nailing her a little bit. Well, she gets shoved out of the way. Johnny gets knocked out, gets beaten up, and then Miss Crazy Woman jumps at Killer Cross, fighting his ass, which I like that. I like that she didn't give a damn. And this also kind of plays into when Impact Wrestling moves to Pursuit. Supposedly, when they get to Pursuit, they're going to be doing more and more edgier work because they don't have to worry about the PG rating that they're going to have. They can be a lot more rough. Hopefully like Major League Wrestling. But in the end, Killer Cross throws her into the crowd. And you see one guy smiling his head off. When he got splatted with Tessa. Either he was just glad to be a part of it, or maybe he got a chance to, well, I'm not trying to be dirty, but he was right behind her. So I think he got his face with her butt. Yeah, of course he probably almost got his face smashed in, but he was probably happy about it. Now when we go into this Impact, you got Killer Cross dealing with Johnny again. The question is, how far are they going to go with this situation with Johnny, Killer Cross, and maybe throwing in Taya Valkyrie? Will Taya be involved dealing with Killer Cross now? I would actually be interested in seeing Killer Cross having to deal with Johnny and Taya. Because we're not going to get anything with Tessa and, well, Gail, Kim, and Tessa. I think they're going to go there. I think Kim is coming back. I could be wrong, but you guys tell me below. And this is the end of the review. What did I think of this show? It was good, but it wasn't great. Maybe it's because I just felt like there was something extra need to be done. Maybe it needed to be more edgier. Maybe some of the matches need to be a little bit longer. I really felt like some of these matches were short. Like the X Division match. Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie's match was a bit short. Willie Mack's match was long, and so was the tag champs. And, well, I think Johnny's match was a little shorter. Johnny and Brian Cage's match might have been a little bit shorter. So it's kind of hard to say what's missing. It felt like something was missing. Doesn't mean it wasn't a good show. But I think it could have been great. There was something missing. If it's just me, you guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night.